we get.
Oh, what is this?
This is like how this platform handles the startup.
Oh. Elevator music and a countdown.
Yeah.
Or on old music, maybe, I don't know.
Well, I think it's cute. I mean, let's be honest. It has good production value. It has good production. It has good production. Okay. Yeah, okay, everybody's here. Welcome to another edition of What Survives the Morning. By the way, I want to iterate that there are two broadcasts that happen at iterative times. What Survives the Morning, which is the Monday and Friday, and if I ever get around to it, the extra day in the middle, Wednesday broadcast. And then What Survives the Evening, which is all gamer shit. But I broadcast all my gamer shit on I broadcast all my gamer shit on different platforms than Substack or. I'm Wendy the Druid, Brandon the super gay guy, Miranda the most poetic trans person I know, and then the doctor who is the most sadistic person I know, but I enjoy being around anyway. Doesn't matter how sadistic she is. I didn't say that out loud, by the way. So we'll go right into it. So over the weekend, I compiled a bunch of sources, and so one of the things that was a constant motif through the weekend is that basically Senate Republicans, the GOP, are starting to measure their dicks against Trump's own dick as a litmus, and the results are tiny because Senate Republicans have finally figured out that that Trump is a liability, like a ginormous liability. And so,
according to Trump, they should be measuring against Arnold Palmer, right?
Yeah, right. Because how big is that? I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. So, and then the queer story for today was the children's book, "Love Looks Like Lola," which is a children's book about being Arrow and Ace, and it's an amazing book. I actually got a copy of it when I found it. I recommend it. If you read the digest article, I put a link into it so you can get a copy of it. But it's all about this little girl who goes to her aunt's house, and her aunt is like this Arrow Ace person. And so, like Lola asks her aunt, why don't you have somebody to kiss or hug or to love? And literally her aunt is like, I don't need that. I'm happy the way I am. I don't need to have that fulfillment. And so, and then it was written by a guy named Cody Daigle-Oriens, who, by the way, is the guy who runs, and please, somebody, yes, Ashish, this is about American politics. Somebody in the chat. Anyway, Cody Daigle-Oriens, who, by the way, is the guy that owns like Ace Dad Advice. And he's been running that domain for like a long time, and so he's the one like that everybody goes to for, Oh, Marnie, thank you for the compliment about my neck. I love this necklace because I lost my trans girl necklace, and so I got this one too. But anyway, I'm getting off the beaten path a little bit. Give me just a second to bring up the YouTube channel. Okay, there we go. So anyway, you know, I went and read through his website, and he has some brilliant asexual advice. But the lesbian thing, we'll talk about that. So we're just going to go right into it. So Senate Republicans have looked at the man that they've spent a decade trying to strap themselves onto, faster than Ahab did to the great white whale. If there's nobody that doesn't know what that is, you should find out. And have started to, they're running the numbers now on whether he's a boat anchor or not, and the answer is yes. There are 22 seats up in November. Polls in Ohio, Iowa, Texas, Georgia, and North Carolina all generically have a 10-point lead for any generic Democrat candidate that is running in those states. And so they're starting to ass sweat right through their Brooks Brothers suits. And so they turn to Trump and they say, what do we do? And his answer is burn floor time on the voter ID bill to get the SAVE Act passed, which is dead in the water because no Republican will sign it. Do whatever they can to stop it. Mark Mullen is basically running around and telling states, if you don't hand your voter rolls over, you will not be able to submit your votes in the midterm elections, which would be a violation of every state constitution you can imagine. And so the core of this means that this is not a crisis of conscience. It's a crisis of just goddamn arithmetic. It's the only kind of crisis this crowd has ever been capable of having is not doing the fucking math right. And so, does anybody want to chime in about that opinion? Because I'd love to hear an opinion.
So Trump's solution is stop everybody from voting, basically? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the hard right-wing pastor types or whatever are like, we need to have family voting, not independent person voting.
Family voting?
It's family voting.
Yeah, they're advocating to repeal the 19th and do family voting, where the male head of the family votes.
Oh, yes, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the male head of the family votes, and the woman does not.
So
isn't that a Project 2025 thing?
Yeah,
I remember.
Initially, yeah, I think that it was.
That I just refused to believe would actually ever be a thing because it was so insane. Yeah.
I mean, clearly insanity. Yeah, how could you not? How could you not assert that against, that ultimate goal or whatever? So,
does there have to be a male head of the household, or if there's a?
Well, so I watched a video about that, and here's what the guy said: it's the head of the household. Well, what if a woman's the head of the household? And he said,
right.
Well, then she would get the vote.
And how are we determining head of household, though?
Well, right. Like an unmarried woman is the head of her household, she would get the vote.
But making more money, I guess, right? Is that
no?
Oh,
just single, not married. She would be the head of the household.
No, I mean, but in a married situation.
Well, no. Christians say in a married situation, man's always the head of the household.
Oh, okay. Even if he doesn't have a job and she does or anything, none of that matters, I guess, right?
Yes. Yes, okay. Exactly. Which to me is bullshit. Right? I mean, it's not just me. I mean, that seems like bullshit, right? That, even if the woman makes more money and the man is still the head of the household.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that by a long shot. So, and with the job market going the way it is right now, I mean, it's a fucking disaster. So, I think I've talked about this, but there's a court case called Mobley v. Workday. And it's about a guy who has been applying for jobs, and he kept statistics for all the jobs that he applied for. And so, he went and has now filed a lawsuit against Workday for, get this, he would apply for the job at 11 at night, and then at 1 o'clock in the morning, he'd get the email that said, "We reviewed your resume and you weren't a fit. We went with somebody else." And so that happened like enough times over and over and over and over and over and over again that he decided to file a lawsuit against them for discrimination. Because he was applying for roles that he clearly was like in line for. Like he had the skills. They should have interviewed him, and they didn't, because they're using AI to disqualify people. So this is a thing. I mean, it legit is happening to people who are applying for work. Well, I'm going to tell you a Kira story. So Kira, my friend Kira, who is no longer my partner, but my friend Kira, comes to me and she says, "Hey, Wendy, I applied for a DeFi crypto security incident response job. And you know how long it took for them to deny me?" And I was like, I thought about it for a minute. I was like, okay, she's telling me this because it's going to be AI, right? I'm like, all right. So I had 22 minutes. And she looked at me. She said, "No, try again, faster." And I went, "Faster?" And she said, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Okay, 30 seconds. And she looked at me. She said, No, faster than that." And I said, "You're shitting me." And she was like, "No, I got the email that said, we reviewed your resume and we're going to go with another candidate." So that's how bad from a job application perspective.
They're going to start combining the "we've received your submission or resume" email with a rejection email.
Right.
Out of efficiency.
Yeah, right. Because efficiency is an amazing thing, right?
We both received and rejected your application.
We've received it, we reviewed it, and we've rejected it in 30 seconds. That's not even humanly possible. A person cannot, okay, let me quantify that for you. When I worked at Sage, the financial technology company, I had to hire out for a senior engineer. They sent me 40 resumes that were 2,000 words long. So that basically means I read almost the entirety of The Great Gatsby, reading through all those resumes just to find a candidate. Fuck no. I'm sorry. Fuck no. So it just, oh my God. So let's go right back into the GOP discussion. So I understand that last week there was, so basically they have 2 lunch halls in the Senate. And there's one for the Republicans and there's one for the Democrats. And so what recently happened, I think it was on Thursday or Friday, the Republican lunch hall had a big event. All the Republicans went because they had a special guest, and it was Donald Trump. So the MSN Now guy was reporting that he's allowed to attend those. And he went into that one apparently, and according to him, there were Republicans who were shouting at Donald Trump. Like literally, like there was a sitting Republican senator on the record asking and then yelling at the top of his lungs for Trump to stop blaming Senate Republicans for Senate Republicans' inability to pass anything. So what is it? Like, somebody explain this to me. 10 years of licking his ass. And now they decide on the precipice of the midterms that they're going to lose, that I'm not going to lick his ass anymore.
Their tongues got tired.
I mean, I don't know, Brandon.
They know that Trump's about done, so they're looking for their next messiah.
Well, Marina, who would that be? I mean, it can't be Vance, right? He's an idiot. He's a complete...
It's McConnell from his hospital bed.
Is that the same hospital bed that Charlie Kirk and Lindsey Graham have visited? Oh, we haven't talked in a while, Marina. I have to ask, when Graham passed, how did you feel about that? I just want to know.
What's that?
When Graham died, how did you feel about that?
Oh, whatever.
Right, okay.
Like, he was always punching down on queer people, even though everybody knew that, he was hiring sex workers and all that stuff. But, closet cases are like that sometimes.
I never approved of ever outing somebody. By the way, I don't know if anybody knew or not, but Brandon's gay.
We lowered the grinder flag to half mast that day.
Gosh, that's brilliant. But I mean, but like for years they called him Princess Graham and Lady Lindsay, or like there was this whole shtick about it should be okay to call Lindsey Graham the F word that rhymes with hag, and it should be okay because it's clear that at 70 whatever years old, he's never been married, he's never had kids. I mean, come on. I mean, there's not an age on coming out as being gay. There's not an age on that at all, and I have a story to prove that, by the way, if you want to hear it. But basically, let's just tee this one up, so you'll love this. I can't wait for Astrid's look for this one. But so my ex-father-in-law is 83 years old, and recently he came out as gay to his wife of 55 years. And there was predicate behavior that happened like a long time before this that a sensible person would be like, okay, do you not see this? And the predicate behavior, so Astrid and Brandon, I want your opinions about this in real time. But so I'm going to tee this up for you. So the first thing was, so how it happened, his wife my ex-mother-in-law found a letter that was addressed to him in the mail, and she opened it, and in the letter, it basically said, like, Phil, please take your meds. If I were there, I would take care of you. Hugs and kisses, and then signed his name. And so that's how, and she confronted him. She said this, and he went, well, yes, I'm gay and I love men at 83. And so here's the predicate behavior. Like, I watched this for years. So one of the things was he always had male friends. So like 3 or 4 nights a week, he was at the Taco Mac, which here in Georgia is like the local one of the local tavern places. It's a chain. And he would, every night he would go to the Taco Mac. Now, was he really going to the Taco Mac? I'm not so sure about that. But then this was the big kicker. So he and my ex-mother-in-law were iPhone people. And if you're an iPhone person, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say this. They both used the same iCloud account. So that meant that all Apple iMessages went to both of their telephones. And for years, he complained about having privacy to be able to communicate with the people that he wanted to communicate, because she would randomly get messages from the people that would message him. Is that a red flag? Tell me that's a red flag and it's not just me.
I mean, what is the red flag, though? I think is it that he wanted his privacy, or that she was like, I'm looking at your messages because I can?
No, like his whole deal about having that privacy was so crucially important to him.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
But then here's the other thing. Like, I'd go to their house, and like his guy friends would come over, and my gaydar was going like up here somewhere, or some shit. And so,
yeah,
like, I remember telling, guess what, his mom, I'm like, your dad's gay, right? And like, she's like, don't say that. You don't know. Don't say that. Okay.
No, I think that says it all right there.
Yeah.
I'm him for finally, being able to come out. I have I had a close relative who I'm assuming is because he was in politics in the 70s and 80s, provincially and federally. Anyway, when he died, the news reported it as some mystery virus picked up in Eastern Asia.
Really?
Yeah, never married, never had kids, was a music teacher before entering politics, had a long career in politics. And,
right.
He passed away. It was the early 90s. So, but then never was able to freely live. So I'm happy that your ex-father-in-law is able to, even though it was only because he got caught, but.
Right. So I don't just like Brandon's been on Grindr. How many married guys have you run into on Grindr?
What? What's Grindr?
Oh, come on. Don't play coy with me.
No, I've seen a lot more now than there ever used to be, too.
Well, I think acceptance has something to do with it.
Is that because all their wives just hate them now?
Yeah, gotta be.
Yeah, just don't bother me. Do whatever. Just don't bother me.
Oh my goodness. And it's so funny too when people aren't comfortable coming out when everyone around them already knows.
That's the part that kills me.
Right. One of my children, when they first were able to really communicate, they're autistic and had a pretty bad speech impairment, but around the age of 5, was very upset with me. So upset because they thought that I had changed them from a boy to a girl. And they were really, really upset about this. And, I touched base with them over the years, being like, hey, how's it going? How are you feeling? And denial. And finally, and they're 23 now, and they're like, well, I know you're cool with it, but yeah, I'm a guy. I'm like, cool. I am so glad that you were finally able to tell us this. But, everyone knew. Like, not to steal your thunder, kiddo, but we all knew. It's just not as big of an announcement as you thought it was going to be.
I don't know. Gizmo had a larger problem, like a larger complication with me being trans than being gay. When I told Gizmo that I was queer, Gizmo was like, "Oh, okay, sure." Versus when I came out as trans, Gizmo was like, "Oh."
When I came out, my oldest kid is being a lesbian. My oldest kid was mad at me because she's like, "Why the hell couldn't you figure that out years ago? Our lives would have been so much better." I'm like, "Well, I always knew. I just was deconstructing, and it was a thing. I'm sorry." Like,
deconstruction is like, I mean, Brandon, you went through it, right? You could have tried to deconstruct all of it. I feel like you had to do it harder than I did.
It's a process.
Right.
It's not you flip the switch and you're deconstructed. It's like, there's this one, what you think is one overarching belief, but then you start to whittle away at that, and there are all these like things that came attached to it.
I mean, I agree with you completely about that. It seems just so unlikely that. So going back to the Senate discussion. So here was my opinion about it. So there's more than one way to lose that fight. The crowd involved, the GOP, picked the stupidest piece of shit available, and they decided ride that guy all the way down while whispering to reporters along the way down the spiral they're going, "We see it coming. He's bad for us." And that spineless ass fuckery, that it used to just have the decency to just shut up and stay quiet. Like in the Reagan era, that would never have happened. But now it's turned into cowardice with a press shop. And I have no fucking sympathy for a single one of those chicken shit crap eating bookkeepers who spent a decade making the bed and now they're trying to get out of it. They're just trying to get out of it. And fine. Let it burn to the fucking ground, but you're going with it. You're going with it. So now we get to talk about Love Looks Like Lola. So Love Looks Like Lola is this Cody Daigle Orian's book. And so in the book, not to spoil it for anybody, but a girl named Claire spends the weekend at her aunt's house. And she can't understand why her aunt lives alone. And so it comes out on the 21st of August. I pre-ordered it. And so it's the first children's book in existence to talk about aromantic and asexual identity. And so Lola's answer to her niece isn't that she's lonely. She doesn't want that. The people that love her are already there, and she's just happy the way that is. But, talking about gray sexuality and asexuality and gray romanticism and aromanticism, these should not be difficult concepts. I mean, there are people that, somebody tell me, this has been happening for a long time, right? It's not new. I mean...
Well, and kids, as soon as you just explain it to them, they get it. It's not a big deal to them. Like, they're like, oh, okay. All right, that makes sense. Carry on with life, The book looks super cute, by the way. I just looked it up. It looks so cute.
Yeah. It has this. It has this very. Whoever did the artwork, completely whimsical in nature. And
yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, like, I know people for years said that Emily Dickinson was a lesbian, but I mean, it doesn't get much more aromantic or asexual than her. I mean, from my perspective, whether she was a lesbian or not. I mean, she wouldn't be in a room alone with anybody. But I like every time somebody never married, I mean, you have to ask that question. Gizmo's great aunt, never married, never had kids, had a boyfriend like in her early 20s, but then after that, nothing. And like her shtick was, she worked for the school system. She'd go home at night, light up a Cohiba, drink 2 glasses of wine, and then go to bed. And she was fuck. I watched that woman live. I had watched that woman live that way for 30 years. Okay, sure, why not? Why do people have to be judged over their lack of an orientation? Because you would say that an asexual doesn't really have an orientation, or a lack of a need to be romantic. I don't understand why that's problematic, unless, of course, you're a Christian and you think that it's a problem because you're not breeding more Christians.
I mean, I think that even on the broader level scale of things, though, it's very much just how we're socially constructed, right? I mean, there's going to be other cultures around the world that aren't going to see things quite the same, but for those of us over here, that's the norm, and anything that falls outside of that is just inherently threatening, for one thing. And it'll change with time, though. I think we're, obviously moving towards a more, that's the wrong word, but because our thinking is just so binary about everything here, I just think that we're swinging more towards less of that binary in our approach to things. Married, not married, kids, no kids, man, woman, gay, straight.
I mean, the patriarchy bullshit is the thing that feeds that, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. Fuck the patriarchy.
Good. I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels that way.
Actually, starting with a friend of mine, a Medusa Society, and we're gonna take on some lobbying action to get some laws passed.
Well, I'm right behind you, 100%.
I love that.
Yeah, it'll take some time, but she's got a lot of experience in that sort of action. I have a lot of experience in planning things, so very much.
I mean, let me ask you, Brandon, do you think you'll ever get there?
That I?
Yes.
Ever get where?
The point where you just don't want to have sex anymore?
Oh. I don't know. I really can't say, but I don't see it on the horizon right now.
Well, can anyone see that far into the future?
I used to think that losing my libido would be the worst goddamn thing that ever happened to me, and what would even be the point in living. And then I had a radical hysterectomy, don't have that hormone production anymore, and I'm like, this isn't so bad. Actually, it freed up my energy and my thinking and everything for other things other than sex, and I love it. I don't care. I don't miss it at all.
I can see that.
It's not everyone's thing either, so.
I mean, most of the trans girls that I have known have said that while there's a dip in the libido loss that happens when you get the first of the 3, which is the orchiectomy, you get your orchi, there's like a slow dip in your libido, and then it comes back, but, because your body's adjusting to not having the 2 spherical organs anymore. Your body has to go through that adjustment. But I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily think I'd see that as a bad thing. I mean, although to be entirely fair, sexual activity for me has very little to do with traditional activities anymore. So it's not like I would lose that or whatever. And so talking about Ace Dad advice, I said, I think he already knows what's coming. He's even said so. And he's even said that backlash will happen, but it'll just move more copies of the book, which is the most beautiful, unbothered piece of strategy that I've really hit all month. And here's why. His book is the first children's book ever to talk about asexuality or aromantic engagement. And I needed to hear that, and I needed to see it. So, like, all the pearl clutching, ass clenching, Republicans who are going to blow a fucking gasket over a picture book where someone's happy because they're not having sex or because they're not having aromantic relationships. Every second those chuckle fucks spend. Yeah, every second those chuckle fucks spend screaming at that book is a second this country spends learning the phrase aro and ace.
Yeah, well, they've been whining about the birth rate decline and whining about teen pregnancy rates going down.
I mean, want to remind you, Miranda,
knocking up teenagers.
I want to remind you, Miranda, there's still 3 states in the union that have 14 and older child marriage laws, and there's a reason for that.
Well, my home state of Oklahoma recently banned child marriage, but 37 Republicans voted against it.
So they banned child marriage in Oklahoma finally?
Yeah.
Ooh. That there's a lot of people that were unhappy about that. But here's the thing. I mean, those idiots, they're too thick to see the trap that they walk into every time they attack a book like that. Because the more they attack it, the more popular it's going to become. There's more than one way to build a life. That life does not have to be Judeo-Christian. Go out, get married, have kids, and be happy. I mean, I wouldn't give up my kid to save my life. But, would I have had a lesser difficult time? Would that, if I was dealing with that in such a fashion? Maybe I would. But
I haven't looked at the research recently, but years ago I did. And I mean, they demonstrated that people who don't have children are actually objectively happier on the scales than those who do. And like, I know we love our kids, right? I wouldn't change same. But also, evidence says I would have been happier otherwise. I know that sounds awful, but.
So, Brandon, have you ever seen a video by the Tizzy guy?
It doesn't sound familiar.
Has a beard and he plays videos of people mistreating other people, and then his whole shtick is to find out who it is so that he can get them fired from their job for being shitty people.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
So, if you've ever been on TikTok to any great degree, Tizzy was very popular on TikTok. He had like 10 million followers. Well, TikTok finally banned his account permanently. Like, flat out. Yeah, he's like, and here's the funny thing about it. So, Discovery gave him a TV show, and the name of the TV show is How to Catch a Dirtbag. And so, you could go to Discovery's TikTok channel and see previews about the show that TikTok banned Tizzy for using as the basis for that show.
So what was the reason for it? I mean, I know he recently kind of screwed up kind of bad, but there have been instances where the wrong person's been identified or whatever, but like what was their reason for
that? So what he did was the thing that finally did it. And let's be fair, I've talked with him on TikTok a handful of times. He's a real approachable guy. If you DM his new account, he'll actually talk to you. He's kind of cool. But the reasoning I got was he reported that an ICE agent had killed somebody. Just that an ICE agent had purportedly killed somebody, and he released that guy's name. When that happened, yeah, they flat out banned his account. And the scary thing is TikTok did that to like 30 or 40 influencing accounts that were around that at the same fucking time. And so, yeah, macabre, Larry's TikTok. I mean, it's no secret that I've known Larry personally for about 16 years. And so when Oracle took on TikTok's servers or whatever, like that was no secret. I knew what was happening there. But yeah, so now TikTok is slowly turning into a toxic space. I think it won't be too long before TikTok turns into Twitter. And then posting there is going to suck.
I hear that they're also demonetizing a lot of monetized accounts.
Yes. Yeah. There's a heavy amount of demonetization going on. I think Dylan Mulvaney's account got demonetized. There were a handful of trans influencers that got demonetized. And so there's just a larger and larger systemic problem with that platform, which I find funny because the second thing that happened was that Steve guy. He's the TikTok creator that went to dinner at his lesbian neighbor's house. And then he came back completely changed. So that Steve guy was like a mild MAGA hat wearing type. And in a TikTok video, he said, I went over to their house, and they had wings and fries and grilled zucchini and real baked beans and street corn and mussels and white wine. The wife, one of the wives, like cleaned everything up before he saw anything. And then they sent him home with wildflower seeds and a succulent plant. And he went home and he like broadcast to his like 300,000 followers or whatever. And he basically declared that lesbians were an elevated form of the human race. Okay.
Some might be. Not all of them. There's some shitty ones out there too. But
oh, Yanni, will you take care of my lightweight in the YouTube chat, please? Thank you. Brandon Doomslayer in the YouTube chat is calling you a female.
Did you know that, Brandon?
Oh, well, that's sometimes I consider that a compliment. It's not like I don't know. I don't know what the intent is there, but it just doesn't bother me. But yeah, I don't have the YouTube thing. I don't even look at YouTube comments anymore because it's the worst place. For me, in my experience, YouTube is the worst place for comments and stuff.
Oh hell yeah! Every time Jinx or whatever would go on live, even when she came on live in here,
yeah,
like the people, people would lie and wait for that girl to go online just so they could fuck her up. So here's my lesbian story. So you'll laugh about this. I went on a date last night, and it was a really nice date. And we went and had sushi, and it was really fucking good. It's my favorite sushi place in Decatur, Georgia, where I live. And so after that, we went to my pub, which is called the Marley. And so my date and I are sitting there and we're talking. And I was telling this person that, this pub is completely safe. Like half the girls that work in here are sapphics. So if you come in here, you won't get misgendered. They'll treat you nicely. The owner of the pub, who's a guy named Bucky, who's Irish, always walks up to me and is like, "Hey, Wendy, how's it going?" And it's always like a pleasant conversation or whatever. And so we're sitting there, and so Kerr is our waitress, and I've seen her a bunch, and so I order my drinks between the two of us, and she walks off, and she leans up to me, she goes, "Do you think she's a lesbian?" And I went, "Does your gaydar not work?" "Oh my God, yes. Hugely. I would venture to guess that she might even be a stone butch." And my date looks at me and goes, "What's that?" And I went, because my date is trans, and I'm like, "How? Let me just be clear. How long have you been trans?" And she said, "X amount of time." And I was like, "Then I feel like you should probably know the answer to this question." Brandon, do you know the difference between a soft butch and a stone butch? You don't.
Sorry, I forget sometimes that I'm muted, but no, I don't.
Okay. Astrid, do you know the difference between a soft butch and a stone butch?
I actually don't really know what it is, to be honest.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So a soft butch is like a chapstick lesbian would be considered a soft butch. So that's like flannels and jeans and hiking boots all the time.
Wait, am I a soft butch? Anyway, okay.
So yeah, that's like the light. So stone butches are super ultra masculine identifying. And so I told my date, I'm like, and here's the thing: when you go to bed with one, they don't like to be touched at all. You're muted, Astrid.
Oh, I was going to say, I have heard that. I think, yeah, I'd heard that.
Yeah, they don't like to be touched, not even in the slightest bit. Hate it. And so my date looks at me and goes, "That's not a thing." And I'm like, "Oh, it's a thing." And so she was like, "Really?" And at that moment, Kerr walked up behind me and said, "Oh, it's a thing." And like my date looks at her and goes, "Are you sure?" And Kerr's like, "Yes, I'm a member of the community, and I am not that much of a butch, but I've dated like 4 or 5 of butches that were like that. And oh, you better believe it. You better believe it. That's the kind of lesbian that wants to date a pillow princess. So put the pillow princess to sleep and then go right to sleep right behind it." And the look on her face was like, "Oh my God, I didn't realize this was a thing." And I'm like, "Oh, it's a thing." And so Kerr went into this long discussion about it or whatever, trying to explain that semantic, and then blatantly looked at my date and said, "Do you understand what a high femme is?" And my date was like, "No." So I was like, "Oh shit, here we go."
Your date got like a whole primer on lesbianism.
Oh, here we go. Right. Yeah. And so, Brandon, you know the difference between a butch and a high femme?
Well, you probably know the answer. I didn't know the first two, so you.
Okay. Okay, great. So a high femme is a lesbian Barbie.
A lesbian what?
Lesbian, but Barbie.
Barbie. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The pink car, the pink house, the pink nails. Right. That but a gay female.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. They're ridiculous. Yeah.
Why are they ridiculous, Astrid?
It's too much pink. And I like pink. I even wear pink. That's too much. It's too much. And it's too much nails and hair and makeup and shit. No nails, no hair, no makeup. That's a personal preference, though. So,
right.
Like, yeah, I'm clearly not a high femme. The bull dyke that I know in my life walks around calling me a femme, and I'm like, I guess so, because I like jewelry and perfume. I don't know. And I'll wear dresses every now and then, but yeah. I also have docks and flannels and wear a lot of denim.
Yeah, I'm a femme, but not a high femme.
Oh, I'm definitely a femme, but I'm definitely not a high femme. Earthy femme, maybe I've been called before, but not. No.
I can see that, earthy.
Miranda,
you are quite femme. You're quite femme though, because you like to do your makeup and your hair and your cute clothes and stuff all the time for sure. But
oh, I love my clothes, and let me tell you, I love my heels too. But yeah, my date even asked me, I consider you a very earthy femme, and I said, I appreciate that. I'm a druid, so.
Now I'm confused between earthy femme and soft butch.
So earthy femme is slightly above, is in the femme range, but soft butch is in the butch range, but they're both kind of equidistant to the center, dead center.
Where does lesbian bog witch fall then? Kind of right there.
Lesbian bog witch. Now I want to know, where the fuck did you get that from?
Your face. I don't care. I don't need labels.
I think
I don't.
Lesbian bog witch is a great label.
I think that's a terrific label. Who gives a shit? So going back to the Aero Ace thing. So I actually quoted directly from the book because I was able to do this. And so in the book, Cody Daigle Orient's quote, it says, "Love doesn't need kisses or a wedding to be real," because it doesn't. And I want everybody to think about this. He wrote that line for a 5-year-old. He wrote that line for a kid to understand it. And that's why it works on the rest of us. Here's the thing about children's books, and Miranda, I challenge you to disagree with me on this. Children's books can't hedge. They have to say the true thing in a sentence short enough to be read aloud at the end of a long day by a tired adult who has already been asked for water 5 times. And so everything above that line is people arguing over what counts versus what doesn't. But a picture book settles it in a very short number of words. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I think overall that fits.
I mean, what's the one? Goodnight Moon? Doesn't every parent read Goodnight Moon to their kid? I can't imagine.
Yeah, I've been wondering. We read Goodnight Moon so often that I'm wondering if our trans kid who chose the name Moon chose Moon because of that book.
I have a very magical attachment to that book. And that's literally that when I was younger, I read that book to Gizmo. And the first 2-word phrase that Gizmo ever spoke in her life at the age of 2.5, like she was, mama and dada and all this other shit. But like her first attempt to communicate in more than one word one night was "Good night, nobody." And it's because she'd heard it like over and over and over. Mm-hmm. And so you would get to you wouldn't even have to read it. You'd get to that page in the book, and then Gizmo would say, "Good night, nobody." Oh.
That's so sweet. You know, though, the children's book that you're discussing just kind of has me thinking about something, because even like from an education perspective and from like a research perspective, when we're writing informed consent documents that people are going to sign, and that they're going to read and say, yes, we understand what's involved in the study and we'd like to participate, generally speaking, and it doesn't happen as much as it should, but and depending on where you are in your IRB, those should be written at a 3rd or 5th grade reading level, because that's where the majority of Americans are. And so when it comes down to it, I mean, if we're writing a book for a 5-year-old, maybe that's the way we need to be communicating. Do you think that would work in getting messages across, or are they just going to be offended that we're speaking to them like 5-year-olds?
No, I think there is. Well, I asked Miranda that question. She's the poet.
And she's the researcher. So, yeah. So I mean, look at how political campaigns work, and all of the like sloganeering and stuff. Sometimes the left, those of us on the left, will get kind of bogged down in nuance. Like, not that nuance doesn't matter in like particular circumstances, but we're so often trying to convey all of the nuance every time we speak about a topic that we don't come up with these like short little quips. But the GOP, that has nothing good to say, is great at one-liners.
I mean, maybe we
So
need to take
it
a
makes it
lesson
easy
from
to
that photo.
understand. Yeah.
We already know that generally we live in 2 completely spheres when it comes to the political spectrum, when it comes to communication and media and everything that we're exposed to and consume. I just wonder, maybe we're just really missing the message. I mean, we already know that a lot of Republicans look at those on the left as being kind of hoity-toity. Think that they're good for
Keep
their
talking.
own,
I'll be
smart,
right back.
right? So
You two are going to have to carry it for a minute.
Oh dear.
I had nothing else to say.
But we were trying to shorten communication. How are we going to carry this?
Right. How do we get this down to a 5-year-old level?
Yeah, Brandon, give us a slogan.
I like conciseness. So even if it's not at a lower level, 5-year-old kind of level, I just like getting it down to editing conciseness. I just want, this is basically what it is. Yeah. I don't want to spend tons of time reading it or whatever if it's not necessary.
So
I'm trying to think of something witty, and I'm not a witty person, so.
So I have a thing about that, and it's in reference to a film, and if you've heard it before, then you'll understand the film I'm talking about. But Walt Whitman wrote a poem called "Oh Captain, My Captain." That poem literally has, quite literally, 4 stanzas and 260 words. I think it's one of Walt Whitman's shortest poems, and it is the most transformative of poems that he's ever written, from my perspective. And the way I remember, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong about this, Miranda, but it was an elegy for Abraham Lincoln.
Yep.
But you don't get much more concise and clear than that. And so I don't necessarily think writing kids' books for adults to read, but there is a patternization for shorter communication that's more blunt and direct that people can understand. I think that's the modality of communication that allows people to understand. I mean, if I ever had to read Queen Mad ever again, I'd never do it. That lyrical is so fucking long, and I never want to do it again. But when you abbreviate your communication and your communication becomes more direct, people get your point of view a lot easier, I think. Of course, you're welcome to tell me I'm wrong, Brandon. I'll agree with you.
When you take on the role of communicator, you have to be sure that you understand your audience and that you're communicating in a way that they're going to best receive it. And so, if we're talking politically, does our audience really have to be all the Democrats out there, for example? Maybe we need our audience to be someone who's not a Democrat. How do they need to be communicated with in order to receive and understand that message? And really, if they don't understand what we're trying to communicate, and this goes for anyone, that's a fundamental communication error, and that's on the person that's trying to relay the message. So it's on us to make sure that we're communicating.
I think there is a patternization for brevity of communication that the iterative of the brevity of that communication makes for a larger understanding. If you can say it in 5 words, don't say it in 20. There really is a thing about this. So the last item that I had on the list today was Governor Josh Shapiro, and Brandon, you may have an opinion about this, signed Senate Bill 45 on July 20th, which finally, for the state of Pennsylvania at least, stripped out HIV out of the state's criminal code. So before it, a person living with HIV could catch a felony carrying up to 7 years for a charge that would have otherwise been a misdemeanor. Condoms for an undetectable viral load, be damned. So basically, if you infected somebody in Pennsylvania, you could be charged criminally. And you could face a Class B felony.
Oh, not just if you had it, right?
No. If you're HIV positive, detectable or undetectable, and you understand the difference between the two of those?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so explain that to the audience, please.
Well, I don't know the specific count, but basically, if you are on medication that gets you to the point where HIV is undetectable in your system, then you can no longer spread the disease through sexual contact.
Right. And so Pennsylvania fucking banned that out of their bylaws at the state level. Now, I want to be fair. There are still 26 states in the union that have laws that say even if you're undetectable, you're guilty of assault in the 2nd degree if you have sex with somebody without having a condom. Which seems really fucking stupid. I mean, to me, it's really fucking stupid. But Rhonda Goldfein, who is the executive director of the AIDS Law Project in Pennsylvania, said criminal penalties for those living with HIV have never served any law enforcement purpose ever. In the entirety of that law, it's never been, what Yanni said, which I'm shocked that we don't have sodomy laws. Yeah, states had sodomy laws for years. If you and the wife were in bed at night and you decided to dive head first south of the border and she decided to report you, you'd get charged with a felony because that was unethical. And so 26 states still carry laws like the ones that Pennsylvania just cut out. And they were written in the panic of the 90s. Back in the early 90s, late 80s. I have AIDS. I'm going to spit on you. You get charged with assault in the first degree. Whether you could transmit the disease or not, that was the real fear. And there was never one study that connected them to a single prevented infection, those laws. And so for 3 decades, that felony just sat there doing nothing.
Yeah, they just wanted it on the books to punish queer people as needed.
Right. So, so that's today's question. Today's question is, what will I do tomorrow that only matters if I keep doing it? I'm a queer person. I'm a responsible queer person. Get up, I take my pills. I take my estrogen. I take my spironolactone. I take my propranolol. I take my Truvada. I take my Doxy if I have if I had sexual activity the night before. I'm current on all my Hep vaccines and HSVs or whatever. And so I do that every day, same time. I'll water my plants even though, they're probably okay. And, I'll answer the message from a person I hadn't heard from in a while. And I want to talk about that. So, because there are people that send me messages at midnight because they're panicking or because they're afraid or whatever. And so I always answer them because odds are, if I'm up at midnight, I'm having the same panic. I'm already in my usual panic state that time of night. Astrid knows this because I've messaged her at midnight before. But that's how it works. It's how we support each other because, from my perspective, I can't stand to be alone. Hurting. Can anyone else do that? No, they can't. So why let them do it alone? There shouldn't be a need to. But feeding into being ace and aromantic, that requires you to embrace the fact that you're able to deal with being alone. But I digress. Right. Half of the states in the union will still prosecute you if you have HIV and you spit on somebody. How the fuck did we get here? Why are we here? Can we get away from here? Can we stop living in this weird dystopia, please? I'm tired of this timeline. This timeline's bad. Can we call Doctor Strange? Can we get into a different timeline? Where maybe Al Gore was president instead of, idiot. Maybe things would have gone better. I don't know. All right. So, Brandon, do you want you want to pick apart the cooking thing for the day? Oh, Brandon, we lost Brandon. There he is.
Sorry, I was gonna go let my cat out, and then I heard my name, and I was like, "Oh, hold on."
Okay,
she'll have to wait.
Okay, so do you want to pick apart my feed 3 for $10 thing today?
Well, your last one was fine. I didn't have any problem with it, so I'm optimistic.
Tomato bread soup.
Oh, okay. The optimism just went down for me.
Stale bread, tomatoes, garlic, olive oil, salt, basil, and water.
In my family always used to have breaded tomatoes. My grandma and my dad, and I did not like the soggy bread with the tomatoes and stuff. I didn't like it.
Did you never eat like a grilled cheese sandwich with a bowl of tomato soup?
I didn't like tomato soup growing up. I like it okay now, and I would do a grilled cheese with tomato soup now, but it's still not one of my favorites. It's just okay.
Does it help if it's seasoned appropriately?
Well, that probably would help, yeah.
Like if it were like tomato basil soup, would that help it?
I mean, I guess it just depends on who makes it, but tomato soup just it's not one of my favorites. Also, anything with tomatoes in it gives me indigestion. So, I have to deal with that.
Oh, because you'll get GERD from it or whatever.
Yeah, it's always any kind of anytime I eat pizza or anything with a red pasta sauce or anything tomatoey.
Anything tomatoey.
Yeah, I get indigestion, heartburn, whatever.
Okay.
So, but please continue.
But
I have to ask.
Huh?
I was just curious if the bread is like croutons, so.
Well,
yeah,
that crouton stale bread.
Yeah, if it's just as long. But the way I remember my grandma and stuff having it was not stale bread. It wasn't crouton type. It was soggy bread. So that.
No. You have to use like baguette.
Yeah.
Or croutons or something like that to make tomato bread soup actually work the way it's supposed to.
Well, that's a little better.
Okay, so that's a little bit better.
It's a little better.
I strive for my like $10 feed 3 meals to meet your approval, Brandon.
Well, I am not the authority on meals and cooking and baking. I am an amateur.
Brandon, I would not consider you an amateur.
Well, I haven't been bestowed a degree or a certification from any high institute of cooking or baking. Chef school.
Do you understand the difference?
I have partook of your baked goods, and what I tried was very delicious.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, what was it, Astrid? What did you eat?
I'm trying to remember, and I can't. I think it had chocolate in it. I remember it being tasty. What was it? I
don't even remember either. Were they the little heart shaped?
Yes, they were chocolatey.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was. That might have been a sour cream pound cake, maybe, or something like. I don't remember for
Why
sure.
do I think there was sea salt involved?
Did you make magic brownies and not send them to the rest of us, Brandon? What the fuck?
They weren't magic. I was driving.
I want magic brownies, damn it. Oh.
That was a few months ago. Now I can barely remember what I made 2 days ago.
I don't remember this morning very well, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't either. Although I will tell you that the day before yesterday, Kira and my house guest made, get this brilliant lasagna made with gluten-free pasta that for the first time in my life, because of the mixture of the ricotta cheese with the pasta sauce, I could not detect that the pasta was gluten-free pasta. Maron, that sauce was terrific. I mean, bar none, it was some of the best sauce I'd had in a long time. And so when shit like that happens, it's like, oh boy, now I need to Now I need to find out a way to make 15-minute preparable lasagna. I don't think it can happen, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So, well, anyway, that's all I had for today. Miranda, Astrid, Brandon, anything in closing?
Nothing on my end.
I'm gonna interview a queer writer on Thursday. He's never been on a live video before, but he writes fiction, and he's put out a couple videos, just recorded videos, I think, talking about his stories and stuff. But his name is Ant C, but he's from somewhere in the UK. But
he's a UK person.
Yeah,
nice.
Doing that on Thursday. So if anybody
you're
wants
doing that on Thursday. Okay, cool. What time? Because I will certainly show up for that.
That's a good question. What time is it?
I would imagine you're probably going to do it early.
3 p.m. Central Time. That's what time he chose. So
okay, so basically his evening.
Yeah, he's 6 hours ahead of me. So
yeah. His evening. All right, cool. Is he on Substack?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, last opinion. How does everybody feel about this panagram bullshit?
I don't know. I haven't. Like, I put one of my articles through it, and it said 100% human, and I was like, well, I mean, I already knew that, but I just figured I'd try it out to see what it would do. But other than that, I haven't used it. I don't. It hasn't really affected me that much. It doesn't bother me as much as it does some people, I guess.
Well, the issue that I have with it is the fact that when Panagram scans the text that you tell it to scan, Panagram stores that text for a period of 48 to 72 hours. And the issue that I have is, what does it do with that text for that 72 hours?
I mean, I guess it's not much different than all the other AI models that have been going out and getting data from places without anybody's permission and using it to train their models or to give information. If you ask it for anything, it'll go and pull this information from different places, and it doesn't ask anybody's permission for that, unless there's like a site that blocks it that says, no, we don't want AI to be used or our information to be trained for AI purposes or whatever. But it happens all the time anyway. So it's like, I don't know.
I mean, I took on 4 subs yesterday that were all from chatgpt.com. And that made me feel very unsettled, because that means that people are asking ChatGPT about content that I own, or ChatGPT is giving them an answer about content that I own.
There was one person who subscribed to me a while back, and it was the first time, what you get an email from Substack saying this person subscribed to you, and it names the source, whether it was from a recommendation or through the app or whatever it was. This was the first time I'd seen it said the source was ChatGPT.
Right.
And so then I reached out to this person because I didn't know, how is this? So anyway, I sent him a message and I asked him. He said, "Well, actually, I used ChatGPT and I asked, show me some other queer humor writers on Substack, and my name was in the top 2 or 3, and I was like, oh, well,
Well, Brandon,
my new best friend.
I consider you in the top 5 of queer humorists.
Well, I was
humorist
surprised by
writers.
that, but I thought that was kind of cool. But I also, on my settings, I don't have that thing toggled on where it says block your content from being trained by AI.
Right.
I just let that go because I've done that for my own freelance work. I've worked for a couple companies as an AI trainer evaluator for certain types of projects. And I was like, well, I'm kind of doing that anyway, so I might as well just let them look at my content. But
well, I mean, one way versus the other. So, all right, well, cool. Well, Brandon, Miranda, Astrid, thank you all. You can kindly, gently drop off, and we'll see you again on Monday, and then I'll give my closing remarks.
bye.
Couldn't do it without you. Couldn't do it without the 3 of you. Oh, Miranda froze. Guess she's gone. Yeah, I just want to tell everybody that maybe you'll get through this day without one frightening thing versus another. Or maybe somebody trying to convince you that your life is a debate topic. It isn't. Your life is not a debate topic. And may the ones who set a table for you be good people. And may the ones who set that table know what the fuck it cost you. Because, you know, in the old Gaelic tongue, we say, Fieltie Dehaja, welcome home. The grain is cut, the heat is still coming, and not a damn bit of it resolves neatly before November. It just doesn't. So I tell all of you, carry it the way that you'd carry a full pot across a crowded kitchen with a cat underfoot and somebody calling your name from the other room. With both hands, slow, watching your feet, not one bit ashamed of going slow. There is more than one way to still be here. You found one today. I found one today. We all did. And you keep it because we're all living still. So thank you all for listening and watching. Please consider subscribing to thistlemoss.com. Please consider supporting the publication because I can't do all of this without the support of others. The publication continues because you guys keep reading and interacting. Interacting is crucial. And with that, I will tell all of you at this stage of the day, good night and good luck. Be safe out there and protect yourselves.